What's up, you guys? You know what? I'm going to light a little Palo Santo. Let's clear the space. Happy 7/7. I wanted to offer you guys a little reading today on this Venus day. Friday is the Venus day. I was watching my friend Remington talk about the numerology of 777 and talking about like that it's opulent energy and talking about the Venusian qualities of this number. I think it's a 7-year, he said. I think. Don't quote me on that. So let us clear the space and open up the space for whatever wants to come through. I did do on my community tab a poll, and I talked about this in the podcast yesterday, but the number one challenge you guys said you were having was with finances. And that doesn't really surprise me because I think that most spiritual people have to master the material realm in whatever way that is meant for your soul. Right? For some of us, it's going to look different for every person. And we can't compare our journey to someone else's because what we're here to learn and integrate and do, it may look completely different than the next person. I know for me, like I follow astrology, and so like my South Node is in Capricorn. I know that in past lives, I've already mastered power and money and business and these things, which is probably why that feels pretty easy, but it's your North Node that's helping you evolve. So the more, at least personally, that I focus on the Cancer attributes of like emotion, compassion, connecting with people with empathy, home life, intimacy, the feminine energy, the mother, like that's all Cancer, right? So the more that I make sure to stay focused there, the South Node's your comfort zone. So my comfort zone is like isolation, boss mode, like focused on money and being obsessed with those things. That's not what's going to evolve me, Allison, in this lifetime, right? So if you guys are curious, you can always look at your North Node and know that that's where you're evolving. There's a great book on this by I think her name is Jan Spiller. I forget the name of the book, but it's all about the nodes. Maybe it's Astrology for the Soul. I haven't had that book in a while, but anyway, that really helped me because I realized like, oh, I'm drawn instinctively to my South Node stuff because that's what feels easy, but where I'm really going to evolve is in the North Node. And so that's why my whole business is about intimacy and spiritual growth and empathy and compassion and love. Like, there's a reason, right? Because I know that that's what I've got to master. Of course, as I master those things, prosperity comes. Money comes. Like, things open up. But just because you hit a roadblock doesn't mean you give up, right? I mean, a lot of us are here to master money, whether you like it or not. And so you can do that from a conscious perspective, you can do that from a spiritual perspective, but at the end of the day, we also have to be in the world. We have bills, we need, like money needs to move and circulate, and most of the spiritual people that I know struggle with cash. And this has been a big lesson for me too, of how to create sustainability and income that's really free-flowing and in overflow, doing what you actually love to do, not doing what you feel you're obligated to do or suffering, but actually co-creating a realm where you get to be joyful and abundant. I know that's part of my path. So, I have to have that drive and that discipline to keep going and be willing to move through the challenges. But again, every person's path is different. So obviously I'm here for a reason, but you guys have to do what you feel is best for you. So let's see what cards want. I don't know. I felt like that was important to share. I'm getting Queen of Swords. You guys did say that your love life is non-existent as a close second, but I would say that money and love are very, very connected. And so if you're experiencing scarcity in one area and another area, there's usually like a contraction, and it could be like, how are you opening up to create pathways for those things to come to you, number one. And number two, a lot of times our nervous system needs to be strengthened so that you can move through the ebbs and flows, so that you have the stamina and the resilience to continue to be open. Because opening requires like receptivity, but that's energy, new energy coming in. And if you're overwhelmed already, then you're subconsciously protecting yourself by like shutting down and withdrawing. And that's why I meditate, and that's why I have embodiment practices and somatic tools and breath work and things, because those things help strengthen my nervous system so that I can stay grounded and open and available to what wants to come in next. But again, money and love are energy, really. And if receiving more energy feels overwhelming to you, then there's a reason why you're probably repelling those things right now. So maybe that's also a note to like focus on strengthening your nervous system and doing the things that are going to allow you to ride the ebbs and flows of life and the unknown territory, and really be able to like stay present and grounded when things are out of your control, so to speak, because that's what makes a lot of people shut down. beyond like self-worth, like, oh, do I deserve this? Or maybe you grew up with, in situations where there was a lot of scarcity. But like all of those things are resolvable. It's just that each person's path is unique, and you have to also learn how to listen and then take aligned action, not just sit there waiting for it to drop into your lap, right? So Queen of Swords is having discernment. It's like speaking clearly, clear communication, clearly asserting your needs, asking for what you need, right? Again, money is such a layered thing. So, and every person's story is a little bit different, but what I can say is that I look at it, I'm open to the experience, because in my mind, and because I'm surrounded by people who joyfully make money doing the things they love, and that's already in my vortex, then I know that that's my reality. You know what I mean? That I continue to create again and again. But sometimes things need to die, and you need to go through a void period or a death in order to have a rebirth into something new. And a big belief that a lot of spiritual people are shedding is that money and suffering have to go hand in hand. This is a big one for me too. Like, of course, most of us grew up with parents who struggled with money, or like there was pain or control or something attached to the money that we adopted as a belief system that isn't true for us. But like, if you absorbed it, then it's up to you to relieve yourself of it. It's not yours anymore. It's not serving you, So let's continue. Judgment, okay. And we're getting Seven of Swords reversed. I'll just clarify these. With Queen of Swords, we're getting the Hermit. With Judgment, Magician reverse. Like, do you know how powerful you are? And how are you using your energy? What are you creating? This is a card all about co-creation and your own power. But in the reverse, it could be like a misuse, or you're not clear about your own energy. And then we're getting the Lovers on the Seven of Swords reverse. Five of Cups underneath the deck. This is a lot of major arcana energy. I mean, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 major arcana cards. There's a choice here. There's an introspection that needs to happen about where you might need to be even more clear about what you need, or you might need to clearly communicate the things that you desire or need, or ask for support, or whatever the case may be. Draw some boundaries. Like, I'm not sure, see how it applies to you. Because this is a spiritual lesson in what you're creating and co-creating. And again, the Magician reverse is like, either you don't know how powerful you are, or you're not like using it wisely. It's almost like Harry Potter with the wand, but you haven't learned how to use your power yet. You are co-creating your experience, whatever you're experiencing. So you have to take responsibility for it, not to feel shame or to blame yourself or to be like, oh my God, what's wrong with me? But to just be like, all right. I mean, if you guys haven't read the book Existential Kink, I would highly recommend it. If that turns you on, if that's something that's interesting to you. This is like a more evolved form of shadow work where you're not like digging into your wounds to like really, I want to feel pain and it's feeling heavy. This is like the part of your healing journey where you've like sort of done that work, and now you're like, all right, I want to see the playful side of my wound. Like, I want to actually get in there and be like, oh, I'm getting off on this thing, whether I realize that or not. And I continue to create it because there's a part of me that likes it. And I know that can feel like, whoa, at first. But again, there's different phases of healing, you guys. For me, I'm out of the phase of like, oh, I need to dig in there and feel bad about it all the time. It's like, how can I play with this? How can I transmute this? And like, how can I just be 100% responsible and take ownership of the reality that I'm experiencing so that I can create something new? So that's kind of what I'm getting right off the bat. Let me pull, I'm feeling called to get one of these Crystal Mandala Oracle cards as like an overarching message. So let's see what we get. Let us see here. Whew. All right, I guess this is the one. So it shall be. Love that. All right, so this is Ascended Master Babaji, who's actually the guru of Yogananda, which is a spiritual teacher that I study with. I mean, he's long gone, but like his legacy lives on. So I'm studying with the Self-Realization Fellowship Kriya Yoga in California, where he created his institute. But Yogananda came into the US in the 1920s, and he's the one that brought meditation to the United States. So Kriya Yoga, it was really a meditation that he was teaching people. And Babaji, Ascended Master Babaji, was like considered part of his lineage, like before Yogananda was born. So that's coming with the diamond. So it shall be is very much a message. I'll just read the intro here, but it's like a message that whatever you're worried about, like what is meant for you is going to unfold. Now, what does that actually mean? Let me read to you from the book what it says. But basically, it's like you don't have to be worried that your destiny is going to miss you. But you are a creator. And so what you're creating, it's important to be conscious of that and to take responsibility for it. So let's go and see. It says, we bring you the blessing of so it shall be. There are times when you'll go through your life journey without any sign of what's going to happen. You may be working hard to heal an issue or build your dream and not really know if you're ever going to be successful. Right? We go through these moments. It says, you may hope for the best, but not know whether you should expect the worst. You may sense that the universe is asking you to trust in how things are going to turn out, and yet giving up your uncertainty is difficult. That usually means total and uncompromising commitment is difficult too. Where there's uncertainty, there's often hesitation and procrastination. But Spirit doesn't want you to miss out on your dreams because you lack faith, and therefore are holding yourself back from going for it, quote unquote, with all you have within. So you're being given the blessing of divine decree, of absolute confirmation of success, and the divine granting of a wish fulfilled. Switch your thinking from possibility to inevitability. It's not a question of if, but of when. Know that you're going to succeed and commit yourself completely. Do not hold back. Go for it. According to divine will, you shall manifest the highest expression of your divine destiny this lifetime. So it shall be. And it says, Spirit knows what you're capable of this lifetime and wants to help you in a very particular way to overcome doubt and hesitation. It wants you to be bold and to give yourself permission to stand so completely in your truth that even if the ground underneath you seems to shake, your inner strength and belief will not waver. To help you attain this level of belief, you're being given a blessing. Consider it a thumbs up or a high five from the hand of the Creator. It's a big fuck yes, now get on with it from the universe. This oracle brings you the ultimate divine stamp of approval, a sacred endorsement that shall translate into your divine fulfillment. And it says, at a certain point on the spiritual path, the soul reaches a level of evolution where it becomes capable of loving and trusting the divine to such an extent that it won't turn away from anything that life asks of it. It serves unconditionally. The will within such a soul has become a diamond will, developed through initiation and struggle. It takes lifetimes upon lifetimes, just like a natural diamond creating itself, for the impact of the world and the tests of spiritual initiation to create undeniable strength. Like, this is what's up, you guys. This is true. And it says, if you've thought that perhaps this could be your last lifetime on earth or the ending of a chapter in your life, this oracle brings confirmation. Surrender wholeheartedly into the experience of your life. Embrace all that is. Hold nothing back. This is not a time to keep things in reserve. If you're going to honor this lifetime or this chapter as the ending of a spiritual cycle, don't let it end with even one note of your soul song unsung within. Share, share, share your light. Live your truth without needing permission or acknowledgement from any other. Be true to yourself. Don't play small. Surrender into love and work hard. Love yourself and let the universe love you and help you in all ways. There's nothing too difficult or big for the universe to resolve if you ask for help and then allow it to happen. If you've been asking a question of the universe, this oracle says yes. It's an encouragement, a green light, a go for it. Ask for signs you can follow and take the steps you can with clear intention and an open heart. You guys, there you go. Like I said yesterday in my podcast, there are times when you're going to hit a challenge. And there may be a lot of people in your life that are like, give up, don't do it. You shouldn't believe in yourself. Go figure it out. Go do something more logical. And it's up to you to develop this. I understand this because I feel that way, like about my path. I feel so clear that this is what I'm meant to be doing that I refuse to give up. I'm just like, nope, I'll get creative. I'll find a new solution. And I stay committed. And that's why after a decade, I'm still here. But that's not everybody, and I'm not judging anyone. You are where you need to be. But I am saying that over time, as you develop your own discernment and your own intuitive ability, you're going to know that there are times you need to mute the outside opinions and you need to focus and stay focused on your path. And ask the divine, the universe, for assistance. Ask for support. I do this all the time because, like, in some ways, higher energy can't intervene unless you ask for it. So long as you're willing to take the steps and continue to take aligned action and you're actually listening and your heart is open, like, what's meant for you is not going to miss you. But like I said, there's a lot of people who you will activate within them their own fears and doubts when you have a lot of conviction around things. And I mean, you guys, I've had a public platform for a decade. I understand that there are times when people are going to feel really threatened by your ability to stick with something or to commit to something so wholeheartedly that you will not give up and you just like, I'll just continue. One day, I mean, I have a tattoo that says one day at a time because that's what it's about, you guys. There's no giving up. It's just one day at a time. Reevaluate the next day, the next day, the next day. So that feels really poignant. Let's just pull an oracle card on each of these. But I love that because the universe is giving you, for those of you that really lands, because for me that really lands, because I just know this to be the case. I can't give you a logical explanation. I just feel it. And I've developed intuition enough to know what feels true. But that's not going to resonate for everybody. And like I said, there will be people that will be like you're crazy, like go do this other thing, or why are you still trying to figure that out, or whatever. But it's like, la, 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 la. Sometimes you just got to put them on mute, you know, either literally or metaphorically, and just tune out, you guys. People project their stuff all the time. You just have to stay focused on you. Stay in your lane and trust that the universe has your back. All right, so we're with the Queen of Swords and Hermit, we are getting soul work. Love it. Bam. More confirmation that like the things that you're here to do for your soul to evolve, you just gotta maybe do a little more introspection, and then don't be afraid, like I said, to speak up and ask for support, even if that is to your invisible support team. I speak out loud a lot, and I'm like, please show me the next step, clear and recognizable in a way that I cannot miss. Thank you so much. And I always get it. I always get support. That's also how you know to keep going. It's like the support continues to drop in. But again, this is so unique to each person, so you have to develop your own intuition. That's the whole point. With the middle, we're getting the revolutionary. Again, part of the reason why I follow Yogananda and why I think he resonated to me is because he was a pioneer. He came here, people did not understand him. They were like, who is this like brown man in a turban? He was like the only brown person in Boston. People were like, who is this guy? Where did he come from? What's he talking about? He was talking about like really advanced concepts to people that had no idea what he was talking about. In the 1920s, like this stuff was not common knowledge, right? So he also came with a friend, built his business, then his friend basically stole his business. Yogananda was like, you know what? Okay, I feel betrayed, but I can't wait to get out of America and go back to my guru in India. I miss India. He goes back, his guru was like, you're going back to America, like now, not later. Go back, do it again. And he got sent back to America, and he built the fellowship that I'm studying with in San Diego. But like he had to come back and do it again. But he was a pioneer. He was doing things that were rebellious and that were going against the mainstream and against the grain in a way that was very unique for him. And he's one of the greatest like spiritual teachers of our time, you know what I mean? And so he was willing to walk a path that most people weren't going to walk. And I resonate with that, you know what I mean? I feel like when you are doing things that are revolutionary, so to speak, then most people aren't going to get it. That doesn't mean you're not supposed to do it. If you take the road less traveled, there are other people who are going to want to travel that path with you. So if you were to deny yourself that radical kind of like offbeat path, then it's like denying the souls that are meant to also be with you or learn from you, that there's a space for them too, right? So yeah, this feels really resonant today. What's coming on the Lovers card? So if that resonates and you're like, I know I came here to do something totally different, like it may not look like anybody else's path, it may not look like anybody else's business, for example, if you have a business. I pull these cards a lot for myself, and I know that like whatever I'm creating is going to be unique for me. It's not going to be like other people. I've never been someone that followed trends, but like if anything, I feel like it's not going to be trendy. Do you know what I mean? But it'll be perfectly unique for the souls that are meant to receive it, right? With the Lovers and Seven of Swords reverse, I'm getting withdraw. I feel like this is part of the thing. Like you've got to go within. Like don't look outside of yourself for the answers. Your higher self and your inner guidance is available. And that's like the best guidance that you can look to is your own higher self, not what other people are telling you. Yeah, of course you can ask someone that you trust who's walking the path that you want to walk, or someone that's done it successfully. Like if you're looking for intuitive guidance, of course I can support you. But ultimately all I'm doing is leading you back to yourself. That's what a good teacher should do, lead you back to you. You're your own guru, you know? But, you know, sometimes some support is helpful. But ultimately, this is a card asking you to go within. I'm going to pull one more on that. Movement. That's interesting because it's asking for like an internal energy, but not to stagnate. So just because you're being reflective or introspective doesn't mean you're being passive. And I think that that's important to recognize, and that's where like the Magician reversed might be a part of this. It's like, just because you're being asked to lean back or to move into more of a receptive energy, it's still important to be participating in your life. Like being receptive doesn't mean doing nothing. It might just mean to do things in a different way, in a more relaxed way, or simply that before you take your next step or before you make this choice, to make sure that you are listening from within yourself. But movement has to do with actually physically moving. So that could be like exercising or moving the energy or finding ways that, again, you're not stagnant. What I got right away there was like, it's not a passive thing. It's just more of a reset, like a yin energy as opposed to yang. I'm going to pull one more on that. Why not? Strength. You know, the strength comes from within. Let's get one on this revolutionary card. I'm just curious. Take a risk. See? And there's a goat on here, which is like that Capricorn energy. I don't know if I said this in the beginning of this video or not, but I was talking about the North Node. I think I recorded before this. So if I didn't, I was talking about the North and South Node. And I said, like, for me, my South Node is Capricorn, which is the goat, the mountain goat energy of like resilience, tenacity, clinging to the mountain at all costs, like just will not give up. Relentless. This is Capricorn, you know, for the long term. But I do feel that you're going to have to take a risk here in terms of a revolutionary move or a radical move to pioneer something. It's going to feel risky because you're going to be like, nobody else is doing this. Or you've never seen it done before successfully. So you're like, will I succeed? But that's why this card is here. It's like, of course you will. Like, your destiny, again, is not going to miss you. And we're also getting manifest. And that's on Magician reverse. Like, don't underestimate your ability to create the things that are truly meant for you. Like, you're more powerful than you realize, but you may need to learn how to use your power and co-create and manifest with universal law, you know, and universal energy. So, you know, that might be something that you want to look into. With soul work, I'm going to pull one there. We're getting boundaries. That's so interesting. I said that with the Queen of Swords. You may need clearer boundaries. You may need, and boundaries are a beautiful thing sometimes. Sometimes you need to let go of some boundaries. So it depends. We are getting love here. Like, is your heart open? Like, sometimes when we create too many boundaries, we shut ourselves off to receive. We're getting destruction. I mean, with the Hermit card there and death, it is like one cycle needs to end and a new cycle needs to begin. But for that to happen, it's like, again, boundaries can be helpful, but sometimes when people make boundaries, what they're really making is walls. And what I'm hearing is that it's really important to reflect on the ways where maybe you felt like having a boundary is shutting you off or creating, like I said, a wall in between you and what you desire. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like keeping your heart open, but having some boundaries or some structure or whatever the case is, like, is that holding the tension of opposites? So some people, like I said, have zero boundaries and then they're like completely all over the place and there's no way for them to even receive because it's like their energy is spilling everywhere. On the flip side, like I said, if you make too many boundaries, you might just be in a bubble, contracted and not available for the support that you need or for the things to come to you. So part of your soul work could be this, to hold that line of opposite energy of like openness and connectivity, but also boundaries where you need them. I just feel like in most cases for my clients or the people that find me, like, because this was a lesson for me, was that like boundaries becoming walls shuts you off from what you want. And so it's important to learn that both are necessary at times. But I think a lot of people that I meet at a certain point in their journey, once they've learned how to assert themselves, you actually need to relax. Like, once you've learned to speak up for yourself and you've gone through that phase of your healing where you've like reclaimed your power, you're saying no, you're like telling people what you actually want, that's great. And that is a phase of the journey. But then you can reach this next phase where actually you release, because those boundaries are going to assert themselves naturally where you need them, but you don't need to live guarded. You start to relax, you start to open, you start to trust more. And this is a practice. It's not just going to happen like on its own. You're going to have to practice that, but that is what I'm picking up on that. So let me just check the time. I think we're good. Yeah. All right. So let me just pull one from the deck to finish. The Untamed. I love this. This is Goddess Freya. This is like the Nordic goddess of like sensuality and fertility. And so the Untamed is also about not playing by the rules. Like, you are not here to do it by the book. That's why revolutionary came up. That's why take a risk and go on the path less traveled, but you're not here to be tamed. And so this can activate people because they're going to want to put boundaries around you. They're going to want you to tone it down or to be more tame. can you just be more quiet? You're a little too much. Like, I heard this my whole life, but I'm over it because I'm like, that's not what I'm here to do, is to be quiet and tone down and play small. Your brightness may just affect people even when you're not trying hard. Just your presence can activate people at a certain point in your journey. So trust that this is a part of your path, if it resonates, of course. That you're not here to be put in a box and told what to do and to blend. That's probably why you're here on my page. So I will leave you guys with that energy for today. Thank you for being here. If I can help you, I've still got the sale going. I don't know how long I'll have the readings open and available, but right now I've got 60 and 90-minute intuitive readings starting at $222. Link is in the description box. I created a whole page with like testimonials and frequently asked questions and all the deets for you. Would love to support you there, and I will see you guys in the next one. Happy Venus Day.